Elder Zorlith gathered the young Virillians around the learning pool. Their 6 eyes blinked with excitement as they settled their slender bodies onto the soft cushions. It was story time, the younglings' favorite part of the rest cycle. Tonight, Zorlith began, his voice a gentle hum, I will tell you about the most dangerous beings in the galaxy, the creatures so violent that the Galactic Consortium decided long ago to keep them trapped on their home world. The Terrans, squeaked a small youngling, her blue skin rippling with excitement. Yes, little one. The Terrans of the blue planet. Zorlath waved his upper limbs, activating the room's holographic display. A small blue and green sphere appeared, spinning slowly in the center of their circle. They look so peaceful, another youngling said. Appearances mislead, Zorlath said. For thousands of years these creatures fought wars against their own kind. They built weapons that could destroy their entire world. They burned toxic fuels that poisoned their air. They are the only known species that evolved as predators and still reached space. The younglings shivered with delightful fear. The stories of Terrans always scared them, but they begged to hear them anyway. Sleep well, little ones. Be grateful for the Watchers who make sure the Terrans never leave their world. Be grateful you will never meet one. Lieutenant Olivia Blackwell ran her hand along the smooth hull of the Starstrider. The experimental ship gleamed under the bright lights of the NASA launch facility. Ready for the big day tomorrow, Lieutenant? Olivia turned to see her commanding officer, Commander Eric Martinez, walking toward her with a clipboard in hand. Yes, sir, she said with a confident smile. Everything checks out. The FTL drive is stable according to all simulations. Martinez nodded, but couldn't hide his concern. This will be the first actual test of the Henderson drive. The math looks solid, but until someone makes the jump, and that someone is me, Olivia finished. Don't worry, sir. I've been training for this mission for 3 years. If anyone can pilot this ship to Alpha Centauri and back, it's me. That's the spirit. Martinez handed her the clipboard. Final checklist, I'll leave you to it. Later that night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She stood on the observation deck of the launch facility, looking up at the stars. Alpha Centauri wasn't visible from this hemisphere, but she knew exactly where it was. Tomorrow, if everything went according to plan, she would become the first human to travel faster than light, the first to reach another star system. The test flight was supposed to be simple: jump to Alpha Centauri, verify position, and jump back immediately. The Henderson drive was humanity's greatest achievement. After decades of research, Dr. Samantha Reed had discovered how to fold space-time in a controlled way, creating a wormhole just large enough for a small ship to pass through. Can't sleep? Olivia turned to see Dr. Reed herself walking onto the deck. Just thinking about tomorrow, Olivia admitted. Nervous? The scientist asked. Excited, Olivia corrected. Your drive will change everything, Doctor. Imagine what we'll discover out there. Let's focus on getting you there and back first, Samantha said with a small smile. One step at a time. 70 million miles from Earth, hidden in the shadow of a small asteroid, an alien observation post suddenly became very active. The 6 Virillian scientists monitoring Earth's technology detected an energy signature they had hoped never to see. It cannot be, Senior Observer Zenith said, his skin turning pale blue with fear. The Terrans have developed fold technology. Junior Scientist Krell checked the readings again. The energy pattern matches fold drive activation preparations. They plan to use it soon. We must inform the consortium immediately, Zenith decided. This changes everything. Prepare a full report and send it through the quantum link. Include all data on the Terran vessel and its potential capabilities. Should we activate containment protocols? Asked another scientist. Zenith hesitated. Not yet. Let's observe the test first. If it succeeds, then we will have no choice. The next morning, Olivia sat in the Starstrider's pilot seat, running through her pre-launch checks. The small ship was designed for a crew of 1, with just enough room for the pilot and the experimental drive. Her heartbeat quickened as she listened to mission control counting down. T-minus 10 seconds. 9. 8. Olivia's hand hovered over the drive activation switch. 3, 2, 1. Drive activation authorized. Olivia flipped the switch. The Henderson drive hummed to life behind her. On her display, she watched energy levels climb rapidly toward the threshold. Fold point establishing, she reported. All readings nominal. A shimmering distortion appeared in front of the Starstrider, growing larger until it formed a swirling tunnel of light. Fold point stable. Commencing transit. The ship moved forward, entering the wormhole. Olivia felt a strange sensation, as if her body was being stretched and compressed at the same time. The stars blurred around her, and then everything went wrong at once. The ship shuddered violently. Warning lights flashed across her console. The wormhole, instead of leading to Alpha Centauri, seemed to veer off course. Mission control. I'm experiencing unexpected. Olivia's transmission cut off as the ship was yanked sideways through space. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was a massive silver structure that definitely wasn't Alpha Centauri. The emergency meeting at NASA headquarters was grim. Commander Martinez stared at the telemetry data showing the Starstrider's last known position. The ship completely vanished, said Flight Director Paul Lawson. The wormhole collapsed immediately after, and we lost all contact. Could the drive have malfunctioned? Admiral Natalie Wright asked. She had flown in from Washington as soon as the news broke. The drive performed exactly as designed, Dr. Reed insisted. The wormhole formed perfectly. Something else caused the deviation. Something else like what? Admiral Wright pressed. Before Reed could answer, a young technician burst into the room. Sir, we're detecting unusual activity near Neptune's orbit. Multiple objects moving at high speed, and they're not ours. Put it on screen, Martinez ordered. The large display showed grainy images of several small craft circling what appeared to be a space station, one that no human had built. My God, whispered Admiral Wright. We're not alone. Martinez stood up. Admiral, request permission to lead a recovery mission. Based on what? We have no idea where Blackwell is. The wormhole trajectory was pulled toward Neptune before it collapsed, Martinez explained. And now we have unknown objects in that exact area. This can't be coincidence. Wright was silent for a long moment. Assemble your team, Commander. But be clear, this is reconnaissance only. If these are aliens, we need to proceed with extreme caution. Yes, ma'am. As Martinez left to prepare for the mission, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe was about to change, forever. In his private quarters aboard the Virillian science vessel, Elder Zorlath received the urgent message from the Earth observation post. His 6 eyes widened as he read the report. So, he whispered to himself, the nightmare begins. The Terrans have found their way to the stars. He activated his communication panel. High Chancellor Ziv must be informed immediately. The containment of Earth has failed. Zorlath looked at the holographic image of the blue planet with new fear. The creatures from the Bedtime stories were no longer trapped, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Commander Eric Martinez checked his gear one final time as the recovery ship approached Neptune's orbit. The small crew of 6 had trained together for years, but never for a mission like this. No one had. 5 minutes to target, the pilot announced. Everyone, remember, Martinez said to his team. We're here to find Lieutenant Blackwell and bring her home. If we encounter anything else, we observe and report back. No engagement unless absolutely necessary. Navy SEAL Frank Dawson grinned. You really think we'll meet aliens, Commander? I think we need to be ready for anything, Martinez replied. The recovery ship slowed as it approached the coordinates, where the strange objects had been detected. The crew fell silent as the main screen showed what waited for them. It was definitely a space station. The structure was unlike anything humans had built, sleek, with curved sections that seemed to flow together. It had no visible thrusters, yet maintained perfect position. No sign of the Starstrider, reported Lieutenant Susan Riley from the sensor station. But that's definitely not one of ours, Dawson said. Martinez studied the alien station. Move us in closer but maintain distance to... A sudden flash of light from the station interrupted him. They've seen us, Riley said. I'm detecting energy spikes and some kind of transmission burst. They're calling for help, Martinez realized. Move in now. We need to secure that station before reinforcements arrive. The recovery ship closed the distance quickly. As they approached, they could see frantic movement inside the station through its transparent sections. Prepare for boarding, Martinez ordered. Dawson, you're with me. Riley, keep the ship ready for immediate departure. Martinez and Dawson put on their spacesuits and entered the airlock. Minutes later, they were using portable thrusters to cross the void between the ships. The station had no obvious entry point, but as they approached, a section of the hull simply disappeared, revealing an opening. They're letting us in? Dawson asked. Or trying to trap us, Martinez replied. Stay alert. They entered cautiously, finding themselves in a room where gravity suddenly took hold, pulling them to the floor. The air was breathable according to their suit's sensors. The interior of the station was even stranger than the outside. The walls pulsed with soft light, and what looked like liquid metal flowed through transparent channels. Movement ahead, Dawson whispered. Martinez saw them then, tall, thin creatures with multiple limbs moving frantically around what appeared to be a control room. When they noticed the humans, most fled through various exits, but one remained, frantically working at what looked like a control panel. Stop, Martinez called out, but the alien continued its work. Dawson raised his weapon. Commander? Non-lethal, Martinez ordered. Dawson adjusted his weapon and fired. A pulse of energy hit the alien, who collapsed instantly. Check the rest of the station, Martinez ordered. Find anything related to the Starstrider. The team spread out, finding the station, mostly abandoned. The fleeing aliens had triggered some kind of self-destruct sequence, but Dawson managed to disable it. In what seemed to be a data center, Martinez found images of Earth. Thousands of them, dating back centuries. Videos of human wars, nuclear tests, space launches, all carefully cataloged. They've been watching us, he said in disbelief, for a very long time. Commander, Riley's voice came through the comm. The alien craft are returning, much bigger ones this time. Pack up everything you can, Martinez ordered. And bring that alien we stunned. We're leaving. Dr. Alan Foster stared at the alien lying unconscious on the examination table. The creature had blue skin, 6 eyes spaced around its elongated head, and 8 limbs that ended in delicate fingers. Remarkable, he whispered. Can you communicate with it when it wakes up? Admiral Wright asked. I've been studying the language patterns from the data commander Martinez recovered, Foster said. Their written language seems to use a mathematical base. I think I can establish basic communication. The alien's eyes began to flutter open. It's waking up, Foster said. The creature saw the humans and tried to move, but was restrained. We mean you no harm, Foster said slowly, using a translation device he had programmed. We seek information. The alien's eyes widened in apparent surprise at the attempted communication. What is your name? Foster asked. After hesitation, the alien made a series of clicking sounds. The translation device processed this. Approximate translation, Krell. Krell, Foster repeated. We are humans, from Earth. I know what you are, the translation device rendered Krell's response. Terrans, the dangerous ones. Admiral Wright stepped forward. Why have you been watching us? Krell's skin rippled, which Foster thought might indicate emotion. Containment protocol, came the translated reply. All predator species must be monitored and contained. Predator species? Foster asked. Species that evolved from hunters, that eat flesh, that wage war. The consortium does not allow such species to join galactic society. Too dangerous. Admiral Wright's expression hardened. You've been keeping us trapped on our planet? Not me, Krell said. I am only a junior scientist. The consortium has maintained the Earth quarantine for 1,200 years. Foster and Wright exchanged shocked looks. Where is Lieutenant Blackwell? Martinez demanded, joining them. The pilot of the ship your people took. Krell's body trembled. The Terran female was captured by a science vessel when her wormhole was detected. She will be studied. Studied? Martinez's voice rose. She's not a lab specimen. All new species are studied, Krell replied simply. We're not new, Admiral Wright said. You've known about us for over 1,000 years. But you were not supposed to develop fold technology for another century. You progress too quickly, the consortium will be concerned. What will they do? Foster asked. They will come, Krell said. They will ensure containment remains. Your world will return to isolation. Admiral Wright turned to her staff. Prepare our defenses and continue the interrogation. I want to know everything about this consortium, their technology, their weaknesses. As she walked away, she added quietly to Martinez, and find a way to rescue Lieutenant Blackwell. We don't leave our people behind. Olivia Blackwell woke up in a small room with transparent walls. Her head ached, and her flight suit had been replaced with a simple white garment. Beyond the walls, she could see tall, insect-like creatures moving around what appeared to be a laboratory. They occasionally stopped to observe her, making notes on devices strapped to their limbs. Olivia had tried everything to escape, looking for weaknesses in the walls, trying to communicate, even feigning illness. Nothing worked. Today seemed different, though. The insect creatures were moving more quickly, seeming agitated. A new alien entered the lab, not like her captors, but similar to the blue creatures she had glimpsed before losing consciousness after the wormhole collapse. This one wore what appeared to be ornate clothing. The alien approached her enclosure, studying her carefully. Terran, a voice said in her mind, making her jump. I am High Chancellor Ziv of the Eltharian Cooperative. Your species has violated containment protocols. This creates complications. Olivia stood up straight. My name is Lieutenant Olivia Blackwell, United States Navy. I demand to be returned to Earth immediately. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. Demands? You misunderstand your position. Your world stands at a crossroads. The consortium has called emergency session to determine Earth's fate. Fate? Olivia repeated. Yes, Ziv said. Whether to continue minimal containment or implement more permanent measures. Olivia felt cold fear, but kept her expression neutral. You're threatening my planet? Not threatening. Protecting the galaxy. History shows predator species bring only suffering when they reach the stars. We're not what you think, Olivia said. We have watched your kind for centuries, Ziv replied. We know exactly what you are. As Ziv turned to leave, Olivia called, Out. You've made a mistake. If you threaten Earth, you'll discover just how dangerous we can really be. The High Chancellor paused, then continued walking without response. Alone again, Olivia looked around her cell with new determination. Somehow, she had to escape. Her world might depend on it. Admiral Natalie Wright stood in the war room beneath the Pentagon. Around her, screen showed the positions of every military satellite and vessel Earth could muster. It wasn't much compared to what they now faced. The alien fleet has entered the solar system, announced the radar technician. 6 large vessels approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. How long until they reach Earth? Wright asked. At their current speed, 3 days. Dr. Foster entered the room with Krell walking beside him. The alien was no longer a prisoner, but a reluctant advisor. Over the past weeks, he had gradually shared more information about the consortium. They're coming with gravity generators, Krell said, looking at the screen. Standard containment procedure. They will place them around your solar system to prevent any ship from achieving fold space. They want to trap us here forever, Wright said. It is considered merciful, Krell replied. The alternative would be extinction. Commander Martinez, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. We need a plan that doesn't involve surrender or waiting for destruction. I might have something, said Dr. Reed. She had been working day and night since the Starstrider incident. The data Commander Martinez brought back from the observation post includes details on consortium shield technology. They have a weakness. What kind of weakness? Wright asked. Their shields are designed to disperse energy weapons, but they have almost no defense against physical impacts. They've never needed them because no consortium species uses projectile weapons anymore. Martinez smiled. But we still do. Exactly, Reed said. Our primitive missiles and railguns might be more effective than we thought. Admiral Wright turned to her staff. Prepare all nuclear-capable submarines and orbital platforms. If they want to fight, we'll give them one. Krell's skin turned a pale blue. You cannot win. The consortium has thousands of ships spread across the galaxy. We don't need to defeat their entire fleet, Martinez said. We just need to show them we're not easy prey. Ambassador Patricia Rivera smoothed her suit as she prepared to board the diplomatic shuttle. As Earth's chosen representative, she would meet with the consortium leaders aboard a neutral space station positioned between Earth and Mars. Remember, Admiral Wright said, this is primarily about buying time. Keep them talking while we position our forces. And if they offer reasonable terms, Rivera asked. There are no reasonable terms that include permanent containment, Wright replied. We've spent our entire history reaching for the stars. We won't be caged now. The journey to the meeting point took several hours. As the shuttle approached the space station, Rivera gasped at the sight of the alien vessels. They were enormous. The smallest dwarfed Earth's largest aircraft carriers. Inside the station, Rivera was led to a circular room. 3 aliens waited. High Chancellor Ziv, flanked by 2 others of different species, one insect-like with compound eyes, another that seemed to be made of living crystal. Ambassador Rivera, Ziv said, the words appearing in her mind rather than being spoken. I am pleased you chose the path of diplomacy. Humans always prefer peaceful solutions when available, Rivera replied. Your history suggests otherwise, said the insect-like alien. I am General Vox of the Tick Collective. We have studied your wars extensively. Then you know we also fight fiercely when threatened, Rivera said. Ziv made a gesture with his upper limbs. We are not here to threaten. The containment of predator species is standard protocol, established for the good of all. By containing us, you deny us our future, Rivera argued. Earth cannot support our growing population forever. We need to expand. Your reproductive rates are indeed concerning, said the crystal being. I am Science Director Lum. Perhaps we could offer population control technology as part of our agreement. Rivera kept her expression neutral despite her disgust. What exactly are you proposing? Simple terms, Ziv said. Earth surrenders all fold technology. You accept monitoring stations in your system. In return, we provide limited trade and technology exchange under supervision. And if we refuse, Ziv's eyes blinked in sequence, then permanent containment measures will be deployed. Your ships will never leave your solar system again. How is that different from extinction, just on a longer timeline? Rivera asked. The difference is you live, General Vox said bluntly. The consortium has eliminated predator species before when necessary. Rivera stood up. I need to consult with my government. Of course, Ziv said. You have 24 hours to decide. While the diplomatic meeting took place, Commander Martinez led a stealth team toward the largest consortium vessel. Using technology reversed engineered from the observation post, they had modified a small ship to be nearly undetectable. Remember, Martinez told his team of 6, our mission is to infiltrate their flagship and capture Chancellor Ziv when he returns from the negotiations. Lieutenant Winters will create a diversion by attacking their containment devices. What if we can't get to Ziv? Asked Frank Dawson. Then we gather any intelligence we can and get out, Martinez replied. But I'd rather have a hostage when the shooting starts. Their ship approached the massive consortium flagship, slipping past its outer defenses by mimicking the signal patterns of their own shuttles. They docked at an emergency airlock, cutting through with laser tools. Once inside, they moved quietly, through corridors designed for beings much taller than humans. The aliens they encountered seemed shocked to see them, often freezing in place long enough for the team to stun them. They're not used to fighting, Dawson observed after they subdued 2 more guards without resistance. They don't even have proper security protocols. Krell said consortium species evolved as herbivores or filter feeders, Martinez explained. They developed through cooperation, not competition. They don't think like we do. The team reached a central command area just as alarms began blaring throughout the ship. That's Winters, Martinez said. Right on schedule. Lieutenant Kyle Winters led 3 small attack ships toward the nearest containment device, a satellite-like object the consortium was positioning near Venus. All ships' weapons hot, he ordered. Hit it with everything we've got. The Earth vessels fired missiles that streaked across space toward the device. The consortium ships guarding it seemed to react with confusion, their movements uncoordinated. When the missiles hit, the containment device exploded spectacularly, sending debris in all directions. The consortium ships began firing energy weapons that the Earth ships barely avoided. They're slow to target, Winters noted. Keep moving, and they can't get a lock. His ships weaved and dodged in patterns that seemed to confuse the alien vessels. The consortium ships were more advanced, but their tactics were primitive, moving in straight lines, firing predictably. On the communication channel, Winters heard the excited voices of his pilots. They don't know how to fight. It's like they've never seen evasive maneuvers before. Winters smiled grimly as they destroyed a second containment device. They might be outnumbered and outgunned, but humanity had one advantage the consortium never expected. Thousands of years of warfare had taught humans how to fight in ways the peaceful aliens had never imagined. Aboard the flagship, Chancellor, Ziv returned from negotiations to find chaos. Humans had somehow boarded his vessel and were fighting their way toward the command center. Other humans were destroying the containment devices. None of this matched the consortium's predictions about how the primitive Terrans would respond. As Ziv entered the command center, he came face to face with Commander Martinez and his team. Chancellor, Martinez said, raising his weapon, I believe it's time we had our own negotiations. High Chancellor Ziv stared at the humans who had somehow infiltrated his ship. They were smaller than he expected, but the weapons they pointed at him looked no less deadly. This is most irregular, Ziv said, his thought voice calm despite the situation. The consortium does not negotiate with hostage takers. Then today will be full of new experiences for both of us, Commander Martinez replied. Tell your crew to stand down and recall your ships. Ziv's skin rippled with color, a sign of emotion that Martinez had learned to recognize from Krell. I cannot do this. The containment protocols must be followed. Chancellor, Martinez said, stepping closer, you need to understand something. Humans don't respond well to being trapped. We've spent our history breaking free from anyone who tried to cage us. Your history is precisely why you must be contained, Ziv insisted. Predator species always bring violence to the stars. A loud explosion rocked the ship. Lieutenant Winters and his attack squadron were continuing their assault on the containment devices. That sounds like violence to me, Martinez said. Except we're not the ones who started it. Frank Dawson approached with a small device. Commander, I've downloaded their command logs. You need to see this. Martinez glanced at the translation. His face hardened. Chancellor, these logs show orders to destroy Earth if containment fails. You were never planning to just trap us. You were ready to wipe us out. Only as a last resort, Ziv said. The safety of the galaxy takes precedence over one violent species. Martinez activated his communication device. Admiral Wright, we have confirmation. The consortium was planning orbital bombardment if we didn't surrender. Understood, Commander. Wright's voice came through. Get out of there now, we're moving to Phase 2. Martinez turned to his team. We're leaving. Bring the Chancellor. You cannot take me prisoner, Ziv protested. Actually, we can, Martinez said. Consider it your first lesson in how predators operate. On Earth, Admiral Wright watched as hundreds of missiles launched from submarines and ground bases around the world. The nuclear-tipped weapons streaked toward the consortium fleet. They're activating their shields, reported a technician. Just as we hoped, Wright said. The missiles impacted against the glowing shields of the alien vessels. Most detonated harmlessly against the energy barriers. But a few, specifically designed with dense penetrator tips, punched through, causing explosions. Inside the consortium ships, Wright allowed herself a small smile. Dr. Reed was right about their shields. Admiral, called out the communications officer. We're getting a signal from the consortium. They're asking for a ceasefire. Tell them we'll stop shooting when all containment devices are withdrawn from our solar system, Wright ordered. Beside her, Dr. Foster and Krell watched the battle with very different expressions. Foster looked hopeful, but Krell seemed deeply troubled. You do not understand what you've done, Krell said quietly. This is only a small fraction of the consortium's forces. They will return with their full might. Then we better make good use of the time we have, Wright replied. Lieutenant Olivia Blackwell had been watching her captors closely. Since the alarm started, the laboratory had emptied of all but 2 guards. Something big was happening. She had spent weeks testing the transparent walls of her cell looking for any weakness. Now she noticed something. When the alarm sounded, the power had flickered briefly and a tiny seam had appeared along one edge. Olivia waited until both guards were looking away, then pressed hard against the seam. To her surprise, a small section slid open, just enough for her to squeeze through. Moving silently, she crept behind the nearest guard and struck it with a quick blow to what she hoped was a vulnerable area. The insect-like creature collapsed without a sound. The second guard turned, but Olivia was already moving. She grabbed a metal tool from a nearby table and swung it hard. The guard fell. Free but still trapped on the alien ship, Olivia quickly searched for a way out. She found a room filled with small craft, escape pods or shuttles. As she studied them, trying to figure out the controls, alarms blared louder. Through a viewport, she saw explosions in space. Earth was fighting back. With renewed determination, Olivia entered one of the small craft. The controls were alien, but some principles had to be universal. She pressed what looked like an activation symbol, and the ship hummed to life. Here goes nothing, she whispered, as she pressed another symbol that she hoped meant launch. The small craft shot out of the bay away from the science vessel. Olivia had one goal: get back to Earth and tell them everything she had learned. Ambassador Rivera returned to Earth as the battle raged in space. She went directly to the Pentagon Command Center. Admiral Wright, she said, the negotiations were a sham. They never intended to offer us fair terms. We know, Wright replied grimly. Commander Martinez found evidence they were planning to destroy us if necessary. Then we have no choice but to fight, Rivera said. But how can we win? Against their full forces? Dr. Foster approached with a tablet. Maybe we don't have to fight alone. Krell has been sharing information about other species the consortium has contained. He showed them a star map with several planets highlighted. These are worlds of other predator species, quarantined just like Earth. Some have technology nearly equal to the consortium. Could we contact them? Wright asked. With the fold technology, yes, Foster said. Krell has provided coordinates. Wright considered this information. We need allies if we're going to survive this. Ambassador Rivera, how would you feel about a new diplomatic mission? This time to potential friends rather than enemies. I'm ready, Rivera said. A technician interrupted them. Admiral, we're detecting a small alien craft approaching Earth at high speed. It's not following any consortium flight patterns. Defensive measures? Wright asked. Wait, the technician said. We're receiving a transmission. It's in English. The speakers crackled, then a familiar voice filled the room. This is Lieutenant Olivia Blackwell requesting emergency landing clearance. I've stolen an alien ship and have critical intelligence about consortium weaknesses. Wright's face broke into the first genuine smile in weeks. Clear her for landing. Immediately. And someone tell Commander Martinez his missing pilot is coming home. In the depths of space, the consortium fleet retreated beyond Mars orbit to regroup. Their casualties had been light, but the shock of effective human resistance had thrown their command structure into disarray. General Vox addressed the assembled ship captains through their shared mental link. The Terrans have proven more dangerous than anticipated. Their primitive weapons should not have penetrated our shields. They adapt quickly, Science Director Lum observed, and they have taken the High Chancellor hostage. We will withdraw temporarily, Vox decided, but I am calling for the Grand Armada. The Terran problem must be solved permanently. As the consortium ships moved away from Earth, they did not notice the small experimental vessel that slipped past them activating its fold drive. The Starstrider II, commanded by the recently rescued Lieutenant Blackwell with Commander Martinez as her second-in-command, disappeared into a controlled wormhole. Their destination, Dracor, home to another species that knew what it meant to be caged by the consortium. The Starstrider II emerged from fold space near a planet with purple oceans and green landmasses. Dracor looked beautiful from orbit, but Lieutenant Olivia Blackwell and Commander Eric Martinez knew its scars were hidden from this distance. Receiving transmission from the surface, Martinez reported. A face appeared on their screen, reptilian with golden scales and vertical pupils. Unidentified vessel, state your business or be destroyed. I am Lieutenant Blackwell of Earth, Olivia said. We come seeking allies against the consortium. The reptilian being's eyes widened. Earth? You broke containment? We did, and we need your help. After a pause, the being nodded. Land at these coordinates. Come unarmed. The Starstrider II descended through the atmosphere. Below, they saw cities rebuilt among ruins, evidence of the orbital bombardment Krell had mentioned. The Dracorians had recovered, but the scars of consortium containment were still visible. They landed in a clearing outside a massive structure carved into a mountainside. A delegation of Dracorians waited, tall, powerful reptilian beings with intelligence burning in their eyes. I am Sarix, war leader of Dracor, the largest of them said. You claim to have broken the consortium's chains. Prove it. Olivia stepped forward. We found their weakness. Their shields cannot stop physical projectiles. We fought them off, but they will return with greater numbers. Sarix studied her. And why come to us? We know the consortium contained other species like ours, Martinez explained. Predator species. We believe together we can end their control forever. Sarix led them inside the mountain structure where hundreds of Dracorians worked at what appeared to be a massive shipyard. Vessels of war were under construction everywhere. We have been preparing for 200 years, Sarix said, since the day they bombed our world and left us for dead. But we were never strong enough alone. You won't be alone anymore, Olivia promised. On Earth, Ambassador Patricia Rivera stood before representatives from 3 other species who had answered Earth's call. The insectoid Vex, with their hive intelligence and advanced computing. The aquatic Marins, masters of stealth technology. And the mammalian Kelvari, whose gravity manipulation could rival the consortium's. The consortium told each of us we were alone, Rivera said. They made us believe we were the only dangerous ones, the only ones who needed to be contained. They lied. They feared what we might become if united, said the Kelvari representative, a furred being with 6 limbs and wise eyes. And they were right to fear, clicked the Vex Queen. Together, we can match their technology and exceed their tactical abilities, added the Marin Elder, his voice bubbling through the water in his breathing apparatus. Dr. Foster entered with new intelligence. The consortium Grand Armada has entered the solar system. Over 300 ships, the largest fleet ever assembled. Admiral Wright joined them at the table. Then it's time. Is the Alliance fleet ready? All ships report combat readiness, Foster confirmed. The Dracorians arrived an hour ago with their battle fleet. Rivera looked at each of the alien representatives. Everything changes today. Win or lose, the galaxy will never be the same. Chancellor Ziv, now returned to his people in a prisoner exchange, stood on the bridge of the consortium command ship. The massive view screen showed hundreds of vessels arranged in perfect formation. The Terrans cannot stand against this force, General Vox said confidently. No contained species has ever. Detecting multiple fold space events, interrupted a sensor operator. Ships appearing near Saturn's rings. Ziv watched in disbelief as over 100 vessels of different designs appeared. Earth ships, Dracorian. Destroyers, Vex hive crafts, Marin stealth cruisers and Kelvari gravity ships, all moving together in coordinated attack patterns. Impossible, Vox whispered. They've formed an alliance. The nightmare scenario, Ziv said quietly. This is why we contained them separately. This is what we always feared. The Battle of Saturn became the largest space engagement in galactic history. The consortium fleet, though larger and more advanced, found itself facing tactics it had never encountered. Human generals applied ancient Earth military strategies to space combat. Dracorian ships absorbed damage that would destroy other vessels. Vex craft coordinated with inhuman precision. Marin ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Kelvari vessels manipulated gravity to pull consortium ships into each other. Aboard, her command ship Admiral Wright directed the battle with calm efficiency. Focus fire on their flagship. All groups attack pattern Delta. The Alliance ships moved in complex, unpredictable patterns the consortium computers couldn't anticipate. Their weapons targeted the weak points Olivia had discovered during her captivity. On the front line, Lieutenant Blackwell piloted the Starstrider III, the newest and fastest ship in Earth's fleet. Her squadron dove straight toward the consortium flagship, where Chancellor Ziv and General Vox commanded. "Their shields are failing," Martinez reported from the tactical station. Blackwell nodded. "All ships prepare to break off. I'm taking this one alone." "Lieutenant, what are you doing?" Wright demanded over the comm. "What needs to be done, Admiral?" Blackwell replied. "Their command structure can't function without leadership." She ordered her crew to evacuation pods, ignoring their protests. As the last pod ejected, she aimed her ship directly at the flagship's command center and accelerated to maximum speed. "For Earth," she whispered. The Starstrider III crashed through the weakened shields and plunged into the consortium flagship. The explosion tore through the massive vessel, destroying its control systems. Throughout the consortium fleet, confusion spread as their unified command network collapsed. Their perfectly arranged formation broke apart as individual ships tried to compensate without central direction. "All Alliance forces, attack now," Wright ordered. The combined fleet surged forward, exploiting the chaos. Dracorian boarding parties captured key consortium vessels. Vex hackers entered their systems. Marin ships targeted engines. Kelvari gravity wells prevented retreat. What began as a battle became a rout. 3 days later, Ambassador Rivera stood before the Consortium Council, in their own chamber. Behind her stood representatives of all 5 Alliance species. "The age of containment is over," Rivera declared. "From this day forward, all intelligent species will have the right to develop freely." Chancellor Ziv, who had survived the destruction of his flagship, looked diminished as he signed the Treaty of Saturn. "We only sought peace," he said quietly. "Peace through freedom, not control," Rivera replied. "That is what we offer now." Lieutenant Olivia Blackwell wasn't dead. At the last moment, experimental Kelvari technology had teleported her from the Starstrider III. She stood on the observation deck of the new Alliance flagship Nightmare as it prepared for its first mission of exploration. Commander Martinez joined her, now wearing the insignia of her first officer. "The ship is ready, Captain." "Good," she said, looking out at the stars. "Any word from Earth?" "Admiral Wright sends her regards and a message. The nightmare has only begun." Blackwell smiled. "For some, perhaps. For others, it's a new dawn." As the nightmare entered fold space, children across the galaxy listened to new bedtime stories. No longer tales of savage Terrans who must never be awakened, but stories of brave humans who freed the stars. The galactic order had changed forever. The creatures from the bedtime stories had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same.